Hello everyone, sorry it's been a while. This is Elmic91 coming at you with another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report with my Bretonnians. So this weekend was my very first Warhammer Fantasy tournament. I've been playing my Bretonnians for around 2-ish years now, a little bit before 7th edition or before 8th edition came out, and I figured it was high time I actually went to a legitimate tournament. So here's a picture of my army. I spent the week before the tournament painting up my Knights of the Realm. So I've got a mostly done Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant unit, and among some other stuff. I'll go over the specifics of what's in my army at the start of the battle. So it was a pretty small tournament here in Seattle. There was about 15 people playing. So yeah, let's get started. So my first battle was against a High Elf Wood Elf alliance. Now when I first saw this dude's army, I was kind of like, wait a minute, like you can have allies like in the standard rulebook? I was like, holy cow, I've been missing out like on so much potential. But I guess it was part of the general tournament rules that you could have 25% allies. Something crazy like that. I guess I just didn't see it, but whatever. So anyway, I'm fighting Wood Elves and High Elves, and here is part of my deployment. So on the far right, you see I have 10 bowmen next to the forest. Behind them is my trebuchet. Next to the trebuchet is the Way Watcher that scouted in, and apparently they can scout in ignoring the 12-inch rule, so my trebuchet is probably going to be going pretty quick here. Then I have a horde of 40 men-at-arms with a level 1 damsel with Lore of Beasts and the prayer icon of Canal. She's mostly just there just to give them the blessing. When I was making my army, it was the choice between her or a second trebuchet, and since I don't have a second trebuchet model and I didn't want to proxy one at the tournament, I figured I could throw in the level 1 damsel and get some more magic going in there. So to the left of my men-at-arms is my Knights of the Realm. In that I have a couple heroes that I kind of stole from One Spit and 360's idea. The hero on the front left of the lance is my Battle Standard Bearer. He has the Sword of Might, which is +1 strength, and a rerollable armor save. So he has a 2-up rerollable armor save. In the middle of that lance in the front is my Lord. He has Heroic Killing Blow and the Heartwood Lance, so he can reroll failed rolls to wound. And next to him, you can't really see there, that's just another paladin, and the only thing he has is the -1 to armor saves sword and a 1-up rerollable armor save. So it's a really tough unit because my opponents have to fight the heroes before they can get to the actual Knights of the Realm, and the heroes are no slouches on their own. Inside that unit, I also have a level 4 Prophetess with Lore of Heavens. I like Lore of Heavens because the casting values are so low, and it's really easy to get your spells off without too much fear of a miscast, and the spells are just they're little buffs and little debuffs that you put on your enemy, and they seem minor so your opponent let a lot of them through, but they really do add up. So I really love that spell, and it works really well when you combine charges in different units of knights. To the left of them is my Knight Errant block. There's just 12 of them with the Errantry banner, so +2 strength in the charge. Next to them is 3 Pegasus Knights with a Musician. And on the far left of my deployment here is 10 more bowmen, and then I have a block of 9 Grail Knights with a Standard Bearer and Musician. So, checking out his deployment, on my far left, his right, he has a unit of Dragon Princes with some kind of hero with the Ogre Blade, I think. So that's pretty brutal. Then he has a unit of 12 Treekin Skirmishers, and then next to them, behind the forest, another unit of Skirmishers. And behind them, he has his only wizard, which is level 4. I believe it had beasts with about 20 Glade Guard. So in this picture, he also has a Tree Man. I'm not sure if it's Tree Man Ancient or just a Tree Man. It's one of the two. And then he has a block of 20 Lothern Sea Guard. So going into this battle, once I saw his units, I wasn't too worried. The Tree Man, I know this thing's going to be a pain in the neck, but I figure once I get my Lord into there, it'll be alright. And yeah, I wasn't too concerned. I figured my Knights could handle everything that he had. So this is the Vanguard moves. I went ahead and moved my Pegasus Knights up there to threaten the Treekin. I have no intention of charging them into the Treekin, because that would not go in my favor, I don't think. But people often overreact to the threat of Pegasus Knights. And so this is his first turn movement. Oh, sorry, one thing I forgot to mention that I don't have a picture of. On the very far right flank, I have a unit of 5 mounted yeomen with nothing. So there's naked. And they vanguarded up, but they're not in the picture. They're not quite in the battle yet. So this is his movement. He went ahead and moved his tree man up as far as he could. And he's kind of shambled everything else forward. And so yeah, that was his turn. There wasn't a whole lot of magic. The shooting was I think killed a couple men-at-arms. So then it goes to my turn. So the first thing I do is, you can see right in the middle there, I charge my Knight of the Realm unit into his treekin. And I needed about a 8 to do it, and I make it, so I'm pretty happy with that. If my Lord doesn't kill it with Heroic Killing Blow, then the rest of my guys can hopefully at least do a few wounds on it. The Knights Errant, they failed their Impetuous test, so they had to try and charge the treekin in the forest, and obviously they were too far away and they failed, so they just kind of stumble forward a little bit. I move my men-at-arms up, and the special scenario for this mission was in the center of the board was a Sorceress Portal, so that one magic terrain piece that casts random spells at you. And to win the game, you needed to kill your opponent's wizards. You get +1 for each wizard you killed, and +1 for each unit, up to a maximum of 3 that you had next to this, within 12 inches of the Sorceress Portal by the end of the game. So that's how you won. So I'm moving up to the Sorceress Portal here. It kept buffing my men-at-arms. It kept giving them, +1 strength toughness, -1 strength toughness, but it didn't really matter. And you can also see in front of my men-at-arms there, and next to his Sea Guard, I went ahead and moved my yeomen up. They're being proxied by some Glade Guard and some random knights. So this is after combat. I go ahead and just obliterate the treekin there. And unfortunately, the overrun did not get me into base contact with the 20 or so Glade Guard in the back, which is unfortunate because I was worried here that he was going to have a dual flank charge with his treekin and his Lothern Sea Guard into me. You can also see I moved my Pegasus Knights up and around the forest just to threaten his wizard in the back. Again, I'm not going to charge the treekin, but I would charge the Glade Guard in the flank easily. And if you can see it, there's that one little blue dice next to the forest. That is the Comet of Cassandora. So I went ahead and put that there next to the 2 treekin units because they lose their ward save when they get hit by magical attacks. So I'm really hoping that'll obliterate them. So this is the start of his turn too. Oh yeah, over here I moved my Grill Knights up a little bit. I didn't want to move them too far forward because I didn't want to take a full Dragon Prince charge to the face. So yeah, he goes ahead and moves up his Dragon Princes with his hero. You can see their numbers are a bit reduced. I managed to lob a Trebuchet at them and kill a bunch. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking my Grail Knights are a pretty good matchup against the Dragon Princes as long as I get the charge. So he fails the charge, makes me really happy. He's close to me now. He's a sitting duck. Over here, he reforms his Glade Guard unit to make sure my Pegasus Knights weren't in his flank, which I thought was pretty smart. He does not charge my Knights of the Realm unit, though, which I was surprised. I don't really know what he's planning to do with those treekin. Maybe he just didn't think they could take on my Knights, but I mean, at the very least, they could have slowed them down. And other than that, he doesn't move his Sea Guard. And at the start of his magic phase, the Comet goes off. So you can see it did quite a number on his treekin. It killed... let's see, they had 12 to start, so it killed about 8 of the one next to my Knight of the Realm unit, and it killed 3 or 4 of the ones that were in the forest, so yeah, that thing's pretty brutal. His shooting, and it also did 1 wound on my Pegasus Knights, which, it happens. Or 2 wounds maybe, yeah, it killed a full Pegasus Knight. Alright. And this is after his shooting phase. He kills a couple Knights of the Realm, so now only my really awesome painted guys are there, which I'm happy with. And yeah, and then it moves on to my turn here. So this is just another picture of my... Oh no, he shot with his Lothern Sea Guard into my mounted yeoman. So there, I lost 4 of them, but as long as I have 1, they'll be fine, and they pass their panic check. So this is the start of Bretonnia turn 2. So my Knight of the Realm and my Pegasus Knight units go ahead and charge the Glade Guard. We kind of had an interesting thing go on here. I declared a charge with both the Pegasus Knights and the Knight of the Realm unit, and if I were to move the Knight of the Realm unit up first, then that would mean I couldn't maximize because of the treekin on my left. So then he would have to maximize to me, but then my Pegasus Knights would be in his flank and not on his front. So we were wondering if my Pegasus Knights charged in second, would they then get a flank charge? But, I didn't really want to do that because that seemed just a little cheesy, getting a free flank charge just because of, a technicality. So we did it instead where I just kind of moved my Knights over a little bit, and my Pegasus Knights were... So both units were in the front. I also charged my Knights Errant into what remains of that treekin unit. I figured it's another unit off the board. They have nothing better to do. I didn't want to charge the ones that were in the forest because that would mean dangerous terrain tests, and I think they're stubborn in the forest. My men-at-arms don't charge anything, they just kind of walk on up. One mistake I made here is that I did not move my mounted yeoman forward enough, because as it is now, he can actually charge into my men-at-arms. So that was a mistake. I thought they was fine where he was. On the left side of the board, my Grail Knights get the charge and the Dragon Princes. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I know he has a hero in there, but I think I can probably take on those Dragon Princes. And yeah, that's not what happens. So as you can see, I think I killed one Dragon Prince. It's just those High Elves, those rerolls to hit on the first turn of combat, just really did me in. And I was only hitting him on 4s because he matched my weapon skill. So that meant that I missed half my attacks, just really whiffed. He made a lot of his armor saves. I killed one, and then his hero was strength 7 or something ridiculous like that, and he really chewed up my Grail Knights. The middle of the board, though, where it actually mattered, it was a lot better. You can see I wiped out the Glade Guards. I pretty much broke them in combat. I wasn't able to kill the Wizard outright, but then I pursued with my Pegasus Knights and caught him, so he's just taken him off the board right there. My Knights of the Realm reformed to face his Lothern Seaguard. And I think this is right before the combat with my Knights Errant. Yeah, so this is after all combat. My Knights Errant overrun because they don't want to get flank charged by the Treekin in the forest, or the Dryads. I think I'm calling them Treekin this whole time, but Dryads. And yeah, the board is as you can see it. So I've killed his Wizard, which is +1 point for me, and I have a bunch of guys next to the Sorcerer's Portal. His turn, he goes ahead and charges his Lothern Seaguard into my men-at-arms. This is actually a picture after combat, because not much else happened. And yeah, he killed a good number. You know, all I had was my 6-up armor and my 6-up ward, so I didn't really have a lot going on for me there. But man, the Sorcerer's Portal actually managed... I rolled the Wyson's Wild Form, so the +1 strength and toughness buff on my men-at-arms for this turn. So, I mean, that's just pure dumb luck. I probably still would have won combat, I think, even if I didn't have that buff, but then, you know, I chopped him up, and he wasn't steadfast. So then over here, he goes ahead and charges... his Way Watcher has been shooting at my Trebuchet, trying to kill it, but I'm not sure if that's a hero or if it's just one Way Watcher. I don't know if you can just take one Way Watcher, but whatever. So finally, he gets a charge into the Trebuchet, so now it actually can't fire anymore. And this is after combat on the left side of the board. Yeah, his Dragon Princes do my Grail Knights in. Just as a preview for the rest of my games, this entire tournament, my Grail Knights were so disappointing. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's the problem with their general. Maybe I'm just playing them wrong. But man, they did not perform as I expected them to. So the Dragon Princes overrun them, not quite into the Bowman. I'm fine with them charging my Bowman. You know, I'll make them take dangerous terrain, then I'll shoot him next turn. So this is an overview of the board after his turn. I think this is his turn 3. The Lothern Seaguard lost to my men-at-arms. So I couldn't quite catch them, but I overran, and they are now fleeing. And in the middle of the board, my Pegasus Knights and all my Knights are just kind of hanging out up there. Oh, and one last thing. The last crewman on my Trebuchet, he needed double 1s to stay, and he rolled it. You know, probably the most useless time to roll Insane Courage is with your War Machine crews, because you know they're dead anyway, and he did. So he's sticking around. Okay, this is Bretonnia turn 3. I go ahead and pursue the Lothern Seaguard with my Knights of the Realm, try and catch him, and they do. So they're stuck where they are now. I do a swift reform with the Knights Errant, turn them around. Same thing with the Pegasus Knights. So they're just kind of facing the Dryads in the forest now in case he tries to do any shenanigans with them. The men-at-arms just hang out where they are, and I move the one mounted yeoman over just to, you know, he might be able to redirect over there. This is before his charge, I believe. And yeah, this is just another picture of the overview of the board. Alright, so he charges on in to my Bowman, and takes dangerous terrain, but nothing fails, so, you know, whatever. And he's going to kill my cool painted Bowman. The Way Watcher finally kills my Trebuchet, so good for him. There goes my one Trebuchet. And the Dragon Princes overrun. They don't actually go off the board, so they're literally just sitting right there. I think he should have just reformed, because my peasants wouldn't have rallied. Alright, so the top of Bretonnian turn 4, or excuse me, the bottom of turn 4, start of Bretonnian turn 4. I go ahead and charge my Knights Errant into the Treekin in the forest. He hasn't really been doing a whole lot with them. I think he might have just kind of forgotten that they were there because they blend in with the terrain piece. So I figure I'll charge it and take them out. I swoop around my Pegasus Knights just in case the Knights Errant whiff, which, you know, that's not unknown for them to do. And in case they need some support. And you see the blue dice there next to the forest. That's another Comet of Cassandora I put down. I did that last magic phase because I thought maybe it'd be worthwhile. This is after combat, so my Knights Errant go ahead and just obliterate that unit. I think they're stubborn in the forest, though, so they actually stick, which I'm okay with. You know, I'm going to grind them down eventually. And so this is the end of that turn. In the bottom, you can see the Waywatcher is just doing his thing. I turn around my archers that are next to the Sorcerer's Portal, and I move my Mounted Yeoman down to try and take care of that Waywatcher. Here's just a close-up of that. Alright, so this is, I believe, after his next turn's... This is at the end of his next turn's magic phase. Comet of Cassandora went off, and as you can see in the top right there next to my Knights Errant, my Pegasus Knights are no longer there. Comet of Cassandora completely obliterated them, and all those wounds you see on my Knights Errant, those were not caused by the Treekin, that was caused by Comet of Cassandora. So, a pretty big mistake on my part casting that spell again, because it affects friendly and enemy models. But I mean, they're still alive, so it's not like game breaking. But that's a good lesson learned. You know, don't cast Comet of Cassandora unless you really have to. And in the bottom, my archers go ahead and I think they took care of that Waywatcher, or no, I either lightning bolted him with chain lightning or I shot him. Either way, the Waywatcher's dead. This is during his turn, he went ahead and reformed his Dragon Princes. I think he couldn't do I think he failed a Swift Reform check. My turn, I just move my stuff around, and then then on his turn 6, he goes ahead and moves his Dragon Princes up. I'm not going to do anything, so I just move everything next to the Sorcerer's Portal because that's all I need to do to win, and that's the end of the game. So it was a pretty interesting match. Losers of the game were definitely the Grail Knights. They didn't do anything for me. I wasn't angry, but I was just really disappointed in them. I sound like a parent. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed at you, son. But I was just, it was laughable how bad the Grail Knights did. But, I suppose that's why you go to tournaments and see what actually works. So I got a full victory and +4 extra points for killing one wizard and having 3 units next to the Sorcerer's Portal. You can only get 3 maximum from the Sorcerer's Portal thing. And unfortunately, didn't have a second wizard for me to kill. Otherwise, I would have gotten more points. So yeah, pretty good start to my first tournament. I was really pleased with my Bretonnians and how they did. And the unfortunate thing is that after you win a game in this tournament, that means that the next person you play also won their last game. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching.